Hello viewers, you are watching our weekly program Invest in Ethiopia on OBN Horn of Africa. Today we will continue our program from the previous part 1 of our program to discuss about investment opportunities and challenges in Shaggar City administration. Stay tuned. From environmental and safety precautions point of view, is there any standard set by the city administration to monitor and correct the investors?
It's different as compared to other city because we established with the complete thoughts, with the complete thinking or complete philosophy, you know. So one of our philosophy is a smart environment. We are working about smart city, and that is accompanied by a smart environment, you know. So in one of the smart environment, you have to protect the environmental pollution of the investment activity. So we have the office and we have the authority that work on protecting the environment. So any water pollution, any environmental pollution, any form of waste that come out of from industry should be maintained and should be enforced to keep the standard. So we have the standard and we monitor them every year, every quarter. If anyone pass the standard, we have punishment, you know. We can give them the warning. If they cannot respect the warning, we can close the factory. If it's not abide by the law, we can revoke the license of the investment. So especially after our city established, we are serious on this. For your surprise, we have a principle of 70-30 land use for our city, you know. So 70% it has to be open, it has to be green, it has to be environmental friendly, you know. Most of the times, most of our city, they are not following this one, but we are highly conservative for protecting our investment, you know. If you see in our city, more than 120,000 some number, we have the land covered by the forest, you know. This forest already protected. Nobody allowed to touch this forest area. So even if we are allowing the investment in this area, we allow the investment friendly with the forest, friendly with the environment, you know. For that also we have the opportunity, because we are, by the way, we are building the green city, not simply the city we are talking. It's not traditional city that established by destroying the environment. So our city is green city. We do anything that maintain. In line with this one, even we are working on the proper solid waste management, you know. We are working on integrated solid waste management. We don't like to see waste disposal affect our environment, you know. So recently we are working on the international organizations on establishing the modern recycling center, you know, a modern transfer center that can come up from the household. It has to be centered in one place. From that we will recycle it, we will use it as energy. So regarding the environment, we are highly serious and we are conservative to achieve our smart environment principle.
Investment requires standard infrastructure networks to attract new investors and retain the existing ones. How the city administration is working on this?
For your surprise, after we decided to establish Shaggar, we focused on solving the problem of the investor we have. You know, one of the big problem was fragmentation of the investment, or the location of the investment not properly identified and properly protected, you know. After we established Shaggar, you know what we did? We developed a master plan for the investment. we developed clustering. We developed a specialization area for the investment. Just to give you some information, for example, Koye is one of our sub-city. It will be our financial city. It will be our financial capital city. It will be our recreation center, you know. It will be a place where you can see high-rising building. So we already finished the local development plan or the neighborhood development plan for Koye, you know. Somewhere like Galan, the place where you have see the train station, we already, for example, just for your information, around Galan, we already set for the logistic hub, you know. All the investments given that area, we relocated them to another place, you know. So now Galan will be a hub for the logistic center, you know. Anyone is interested for export, import, for logistic purpose, we made ready the land in that area, you know. If you are interested about Sabbata, we set that the agro-processing center, agro-processing hub, you know. Any export, any import, agro-process related, we already decided to be there, you know. So regarding the logistic, regarding the infrastructures, they don't have any problems. We decided to make Galan, we decided to make it like the industry center. Even we are working on industry tourism development in Galan, you know. So we already conducted the inventory. Actually, after now, we don't have the problem of agglomeration, you know. One of the big challenge we had before, most of the investment was scattered. Because they were scattered, they cannot get any direct support from the government, you know. But after we established now Shaggar, we are now forming agglomeration, concentration, you know, based on their nature, you know. So this will give the backward and the forward linkage for the investment we have in our city. So with these times for the next year, just for your information, we are constructing big road network that support the investment in our city. Like we will start from Galan to Kurajidda at about 40-50 kilometer, the big road. By the way, we have a ring road close to 160 kilometer ring road we will construct to connect the investment. And we have also the road that will construct from Galan condominium to Sabbata. And we also construct a road from Haile Garment to Sabbata, you know. And we are also constructing the road from Sululta to Lagat Afo. And at the same time from Sabbata to Burayu, you know. This all to give the power for the city in terms of road network. The sad news that I can tell you before establishing Shaggar city, the road network was less than 2% of the land size we have. It's very sad, you know. You cannot see this type of, you know, situation in any city, you know. So when we establish Shaggar, we know what exactly the problem of Shaggar, you know. So that is the infrastructure provision, you know. We allocated this year we allocated about 73% of our budget for the project, you know. Imagine 73%. We are new city, we don't have money, but we don't have any option, you know. We have to create a power for this city, you know. We have to give them infrastructure, we have to give them the capability, the power to be the future generation city, you know. So as you know, Shaggar is a future city. For that purpose, we are working on the investment network, we are working on investment infrastructure, we are working on digitalizing the investment in all activity. So that is our work for the investment, that's what you said.
How closely the city administration is working with Finfinne city administration in linking up through infrastructure development and other development plans, as it requires joint work?
Yeah, we are working strongly with Finfinne. By the way, if you see the world experience, the city like Finfinne and Shaggar, they can change if they have only cooperation. If they don't have cooperation, they cannot create the synergy. They cannot create a development force, you know. So we are working strongly with the Finfinne administrations. By the way, I will tell you some of what we started, you know. For example, before Shaggar establishment, the Finfinne administration, they construct road only up to their boundary. After their boundary, they stop because there is no cooperation. But now, after the city administration formed, after we established strong cooperation with Finfinne, they construct the road after crossing their boundary. For example, we already started around 3-4 places the road construction. For example, from Ayertena to Kenteri, there is a road construction. So now we are constructing jointly. You can see the Burayu road construction, you know, and around Haile Garment there is also road construction. Not only about the road, the very interesting point, you know, about the health service provision, you know. Before the Shaggar city formation, as I told you, the sad news, we don't have more health facility in Shaggar, you know, before the establishment, you know. Even now also we are working on that, you know. So many of our people, they travel long distance to get health service in Finfinne, you know. Even some of them, they die, you know, before arriving Finfinne. But now what we are doing, we discussed with the Finfinne administrations, Paulos Hospital and other hospital, and they give us their crew, the specialization of crew. They can conduct a surgery by coming to Shaggar city, you know. So they come to the health center of our city and they provide a health service, you know. So our people, they are not traveling long distance for getting the health service. I can tell you many things like the education sector, you know. Because of some reason, actually this reason is not acceptable. Because of some reason, if you cross a boundary of Shaggar, the quality of education is not good. But if you close the boundary of Finfinne, the quality of education is high, you know. This is not acceptable, you know. Globally, this type of inequality is not acceptable, you know. So you cannot discriminate people in the place where they are living, you know. People, they have the natural right to get education. They have a natural right to get quality of education. So we are working Finfinne administration to get their support to provide the quality of education in Shaggar, you know. And because of this, now we have a joint project on education quality, in terms of water provision, in terms of environmental protection. And the other funny thing, most of the waste is coming out of Finfinne is affecting Shaggar. Before, there is no strong institution that confront Finfinne, you know, to maintain it is waste. If it's disposing, they have to pay the cost, you know. So now we already discussed with them, you know, there is no any reason the Finfinne should, you know, affect Shaggar. So we already discussed, we formed a joint committee. We conducted a joint research and they accepted how Finfinne is affecting by sending waste disposal to Shaggar, you know. So they took the responsibility. Now they are working on that. So they have different projects now with Finfinne. So after we established Shaggar, we are strongly working about, we identified about 8 sectors. For example, if I told you about trade, you know, trade need production, you know. For your surprise, Finfinne, they have a market but they don't have a production. Shaggar, we are the center of production, but we don't have a market center, you know. So we are working together on balancing this. We have already production, so we support Finfinne by providing the supply. Whenever there is the inflation in Finfinne, we provide for them to reduce the market. So we are working. We have a board, the board that chaired by me. We have security issue. Anybody is illegally behaving, there is no space in Shaggar, at the same time in Finfinne. We have joint agreement. We have an agreement with Finfinne on peace and security. So we are working strongly, and that is the experience of the global. For example, if you see in America, the DC and the Maryland, they are working strongly, so they create strong America. In Ethiopia also, Shaggar and Finfinne, they are working together to make Ethiopia strong.
Finally, any message you want to add before concluding our session?
Yeah, first, thank you for giving me this chance, and I have something that to be understood for the public at large. As I told you at the beginning, when we formed Shaggar, Shaggar is economic city. Not only economic city, Shaggar play pivotal role on changing Ethiopia on the urban history of the world. For example, if you see Kenya, Kenya is a small city as compared to Ethiopia, small in terms of land size, small in terms of population. But Kenya urban development is better than Ethiopia urban development. So all the land size we have in Ethiopia, all the population number we have in Ethiopia, it's irrelevant if you don't have the best urban, the quality of town development. So in Kenya we have like Mombasa, we have Nairobi. While they have this better, strong city, now they are working on new city, technology city, close 2 or 3 cities they are developing. In the world we have more than 280 new city projects in the world. In Africa, we have more than 10 new city development in Africa, like Nigeria and the other country. So in Ethiopia, this was the opportunity we missed. This was the situation which was not created by the elite in Ethiopia. The previous elite, the previous politician, the previous leader in Ethiopia, they were not working for city development, that work for economic creation, that work for a strong country. City development and country strength, they go together. Because of that, Ethiopia was suffering a lot of problem, a lot of challenge. Now our new administration, our new leadership, especially the reformists at country level, the reformists at our regional state, they took this risk to change the country, especially our regional administration, the Oromia regional state administration. They took this big risk to change the country, at the same time to change the region. So in all sides, especially those who are against of Shaggar city, which I can tell them, Shaggar is an opportunity for them, not only for Oromia. It is an opportunity for Ethiopia. It is an opportunity for Horn Africa. Shaggar, for sure, it will change the history of the Horn Africa. Shaggar will change the quality, the history of the city formation. So at this time, many people, they don't like to listen new idea. Many people, they don't like to see the new thinking. So because of that, some people, they want to politicize the formation of the Shaggar city. What I assure you that Shaggar is the economic city. The economic city that formed to transform Ethiopia. The economic city formed to transform the Oromia regional state, you know. The economic city that formed to provide best life quality for its own people, you know. For example, many people, they are coming from Finfinne to Shaggar. If you see them where they are living, it's not the right living place. But because Finfinne cannot afford for them, they are coming to get life here, you know. So these people, they have to get the best life quality. Shaggar came to provide best option for these people, you know, to make them more better life quality, to give them the global housing service, you know, to give them the opportunity what the world provide for its own people, you know. So in this opportunity, I want to highlight this one. At the same time, we already finalized our job to open investment opportunity for all sectors, especially for real estate. We will announce soon, within a short period of time. We announce for different investment activity. We announce for diaspora housing scheme. We already finalized the housing scheme for diaspora living in abroad. So anyone interested to invest in Shaggar, our service is highly modernized. So I'm really ask all the domestic and the foreign investor to come in Shaggar to realize their dream.
Dear viewers, that is all what we have for today. Till the next time, have a good time.